to the Master of Arts in Teaching Elementary Education with Licensure Program Summer 2021 cohort, early fall 2020 start. I'd really like to thank you all for learning about that, and I really want to say thanks to Doctors Holmes and Rose, because they have recently sort of transitioned into coordinating for the last couple of years. And it was basically their idea to say, hey, why do we want to make people wait for a whole year? It's not good for them. It's not good for the kids out in the schools. It's not good for UNC. Let's try to accommodate a little bit of an early start. So we've tried to be clear about that communication, how that is going to look. And tonight is basically sort of an addendum to the big program orientation you'll have next spring. But this will go over a little bit in the document that I sent, which is the packet for early start, how to register for classes, how to access books, how to feel supported in the program. So that being said, that's all I'm going to do except for scroll through a screen share of the document that you already have. And I'm going to basically hand it over to Doctors Holmes and Rose. And thank you all again for being here. So thanks.
Dr. Rose, do you want to introduce yourself quick first?
Sure, that's my name. Dr. Brian Rose. I've been at UNC now for 7 or 8 years. It's been a weird spring and summer, so I'm not exactly sure about time. I found out this morning it was Thursday. So, been here for a while. I teach in the undergrad course, or in the undergrad program, as well as the master's program that you're starting. I generally teach courses related to literacy development and also diversity. I've also taught the writing course in the undergrad program, and I've been coordinating now this program with Michelle for, I guess, now 2 years. And yes, I'm very excited for this fall start. It's sometimes it's really difficult to put off something that you're really interested in doing for a year. So I'm really pleased that we've been able to work it out to get everybody sort of moving when they're ready to. And by the way, Sarah, I see just SS on there. It's good to see your name up there. Haven't seen you in a while, so welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Michelle, off to you.
My turn. Hi, I am Michelle Holmes. I am the program coordinator for this program for kind of Southern Colorado. Denver and Colorado Springs mostly are where my students are. Although I have a couple out in like Summit County this year and stuff, so kind of all over. I'm going into my 2nd year of full-time faculty at UNC, but I have been involved with this program on a part-time and adjunct basis for a number of years. So I am too. I'm very excited to have this kind of early start option to give those of you guys who really are excited to get going a chance to get going. Like, this is awesome. Colorado needs teachers, and I love your passion. Those of you I've had the pleasure of talking to and corresponding with, like, I'm excited for you. This is going to be so great. So just really quick, I'm not sure if Dr. Rose mentioned it or not, but he coordinates the North. He coordinates like the Greeley-Loveland folks. So if you joined the Greeley or Loveland cohort for next May, he's kind of your go-to guy. And then if you're a Denver or Colorado Springs person, then I am your go-to person for questions, advising, all of that kind of stuff, if you have it. Now, if you are supposed to be with Dr. Rose and you come to me, I'm not going to like cut your head off or anything. I'll just refer you to him. But just so you know, save yourself from some aggravation to know where to start. So that's me. So let's go ahead and get into the practicum packet quick. I always tell students, you guys are going into graduate school, so I'm assuming you can all read. So I'm not going to read to you. I am instead going to point out and summarize and highlight. And then Dr. Rose also has some things he's going to point out and summarize and highlight. And hopefully John, with all of his experience with recruiting and students, will be chiming in as well to make sure you guys get everything that you need. All right. So let's dive in. John, do you want to share your screen with the packet?
Yes, I sure do.
While he's getting that ready.
Awesome.
Very quickly, page 2 just has the list of courses for the entirety of the program. And those that are in blue and gray are the courses that you can take early. The ones in blue, of course, are the courses for this fall. And those in gray are the courses for the spring. The and we'll talk about registration a little bit later on. But one thing I want to point out to you is for the ET 501, ET 501 is the course that is assigned to the program, but because that is not available in the fall, we are subbing it with that tip 525 on that second line. So just so you don't get confused, if you're looking for ET 501, you won't find it. So just know that when it comes to it, that's the class that you'll be registering for. All right, we will be doing a full program orientation in April that you will, it's a mandatory meeting for all people who are doing the program starting in May. And we will go over a lot of this stuff ad nauseum at that time. We're just trying to get you started right now. Okay.
And a little bit later when we look at registration, please note where it says CRN. That's a 3-letter acronym that you're going to see everywhere, and that stands for course registration number. That's basically what you'll need to register for, and we'll go into that in a little bit.
All right. Okay. Dr. Rose, do you want to go over some of this important information and highlight some things for us? Oh, no, it's Praxis. Sorry. I'm still in Praxis. That's me. So you've probably already heard about the Praxis test. That is a test that all people who want to get an elementary education license in Colorado have to take and pass. It's a 4-part test. It's the 4 major content areas: math, science, language arts, and social studies. You can take it all at once, which is cheaper. It's about a 4-hour and 15-minute test. Or you can take each individual piece by itself. It just costs you more that way. And each test is around like 4-ish hours. If you take the entirety of the test and you don't pass one section, you can just retake that one section. You don't have to retake all 4 parts. Okay, so just know that. I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend, like just short of requiring, that you work on getting your Praxis done this fall and spring, because I'm telling you, when you start in May, it's going to be trying to take a dainty sip out of a fire hose. The program is fast and it is intense. So any stuff like that that you can get out of the way while you're dabbling your foot in this fall and spring, do it. Okay? You have to have passed your Praxis before you can student teach, and you have to have passed it before you can get your license. So put this on the top of your to-do list. The pages 3 and 4 have a lot of like frequently asked questions, a lot of information. And if you have any other questions, you can get in touch with John or with Brian or with me, and we can help you. Okay. If you have questions, just interrupt me because I can't hardly see you guys. Somebody was going to say something.
Yeah, sorry, I keep kind of interrupting. I'm sorry. So I just highlighted where you will go. I mean, you could just Google Praxis for elementary ed. And as Dr. Holmes said earlier, there's a certain number, which is the 5001. And that's all the, the 4 content areas that she mentioned earlier. So that's going to be English, science, social science, and mathematics. And when you're at this link, you can look at different dates and you can register if you want to now. But the other piece that you can do at that webpage is, wouldn't you know, the people that at ETS who have a total monopoly on any testing from Praxis to GRE to LSAT, they will gladly sell you the study guides that they also produce. So sometimes people will buy the study guide and just start brushing up on some of it. And I think that you're going to feel more and more confident as you negotiate and go through some of the UNC programming. You're going to, this fall, you're going to have your special education class as well as your technology class. So you're going to kind of get back in the groove of being a student if you hadn't been. That plus the study guide will help you, I think, be successful on the test. So there's the web page, and you just might want to just look at it and kind of see the time frames and the testing locations. Michelle, do you know, are they offering the Praxis test during COVID at an in-home testing service? Yeah.
Yes, they have been. I don't know how long they're planning on doing that, but they have been doing that all summer. And I think I had students still scheduling it into August and beyond. So yeah, if you want to take it at home, check into that sooner than later, because who knows if that's going away. So yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. The last thing I'm going to talk about for now, and then I'll send it over to Brian and you can get a break from listening to me, is the Liberal Arts Review. That is a document you should have received from either Dr. Rose or from myself, or maybe from John, right around the time that you were admitted to the program. And that is a document that just basically what we do is we go through your transcripts from your undergraduate and make sure that you have basic courses as listed there. On that form, it will have listed for you like the courses that we found in your transcript when you took them in your grade. All courses have to have a C or better except for English. That one has to have a B or better. If on your liberal arts review form there was something missing that we couldn't find, then you will need to follow the instructions here to meet that requirement. Okay, it can be a CLEP test, it can be taking a class, but again, once the program starts in earnest in May, you're just flat not going to have time to do these. So if there's something you're missing, again, strongly recommend that you knock that out this fall or in the spring. And John's great because he knows all the different kinds of classes that are available and which classes UNC offers that counts for these things. So he can point you in the direction, but you can take classes at community college. You can, again, do the CLEP test and prove your proficiency. Basically, you can understand, right? We don't want to send elementary teachers into a classroom that can't do math. That would be bad. So the purpose is just to make sure you have some background in each of these different things. If you have any questions, you can get in touch again with Dr. Rose if you're a Greeley Loveland, or with me if you need help understanding your LAR. John's trying to show us in the box on the left at the top there, if there's an X in that box, that means that that is something that is missing. And so that is something you will need to take. If you just need some help picking a class, then please get in touch with John. He would be great for that. So Dr. Rose and I can help explain the form, but John's really the go-to guy to help you find a class to meet the needs. Okay?
And don't be confused about the second page. The second page is just courses in the program. So kind of this is really kind of your plan of study and the courses that you'll be taking in the UNC program. If you happen to have, and Dr. Holmes and Dr. Rose would have probably noted this, there's basically two classes in the program that you're able to waive. One would be a exceptional student course, and one would be a psychology 500 course. So if you've had one of those two in your past and we missed it, let us know. But don't be confused about the second page. That's just a reminder to you of all the courses, and most of those will say something like throughout the like this is the throughout the program, then these are the courses. But these are the 5 liberal arts pieces that Dr. Holmes was referring to. And then finally, the way to navigate that, just remember that the kind of the urgent one would be it's not urgent, but it's before student teaching, and that's the English composition, that you have that done. If you didn't take English comp, that's like college research paper as an undergrad. Generally, we'll advise you to if it's that or one of the other 4 areas, to consider the CLEP test, which is the college level proficiency test, because it's cheaper and it's usually quicker. But again, in the era of COVID, if that doesn't work out, or if someone doesn't pass that CLEP, then we help them, support them to find a class. It could be at any accredited community college or college in person or online to address that. It's usually like a 100 level math class or something. So just reach out to me and I can help you find that if you're missing something. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that, John.
Sure.
All right, Dr. Rose, now it's your turn for real.
Thanks, Michelle. John, do you want to share that screen again?
Sure.
Perfect. I love the picture you have up there when it goes to just your black screen. All right. My apologies. I have 2 screens. I have the one with the camera right here, and then I have the other screen up here, so I might look up there from time to time. But this part of the packet will be very similar to what you'll see in April with the larger program handbook. And we include all of this information in a number of different places for you. So just a few of the things that I want to show you here, just to get you started. You'll see up there in the top left there, student guide. That's just an online resource for students of an extended campus. A lot of really good information there. Take a look at it at your convenience. Also, if any of you feel that you need a particular instructional accommodation, that's the second box there, or the second part. The Disability Support Services website is a place to go to actually get those accommodations approved and then disseminated to course instructors. If anybody has that need, that's the place to go there. So the next one is bear mail. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, of course, just some of the really more meaningful ones. And the bear mail is really important. This is the UNC email that all of you get by becoming students. It's really important that you use this email address to communicate with your instructors. Anything UNC related, you need to use this email address. Basically, it's because if you use some other address, we are unsure who else we might be sharing your educational information with. And you, even as grad students and at this level of education, are still protected by FERPA, which means your educational records is protected information, very similar to HIPAA for medical records. And the only way we can really know that we're talking to you and sharing information to you is through this email address. Now, you have that. But then Canvas, which is our learning management system, that's where all of our courses are housed, all the information there. If it's online courses, that's where you'll be accessing your content. That LMS also has a communication service, an email service that you can get, and it does forward to your bear mail address. This is where instructors can email students within a single course, everybody in a course, individuals within the course. And that can get forwarded to your bear mail. However, you need to make sure you check that bear mail account, because if we send something to your bear mail, it isn't going to Canvas. And so you want to pay attention to at very least that bear mail account. But again, I've had students email me from Gmail accounts, other accounts, and I've asking about grades and other personal information regarding their education. And I've had to write them back and said, I'm not exactly sure who this is. Please email me back using your UNC address so I can talk to you about this stuff. It's kind of a big deal, so make sure you use that. If you ever do something odd or forget, we'll try to steer you back to it. But that's the big one about the email. If you're unsure about the books required for the course, you can look at the UNC bookstore page. They have all the courses and the required texts. A lot of other information here, comprehensive exams and such. We'll be talking about that later on in a different orientation. Down at the bottom of the page, there's financial aid. Any financial aid question should be brought to the financial aid office. Adrena Pollack is a really good contact there, so please contact her if you have any questions. On the next page, there's all sorts of other information, but I want to go down to close to the bottom, registering for classes. That's really one of the most important parts here for you today, is to actually see how to do that. And at this point, I'm going to hand it back over to John, because he's going to actually show you how to do it within UNC system. Go for it, John.
Thank you very much. And while I have everyone, hey, just note that one of the things that you want to pay attention to is health insurance. You are going to automatically be enrolled in the UNC health insurance program unless you opt out of that. And you can opt out in one of a couple ways. One, it might just be easiest to call them and tell them, hey, I don't want the health insurance. You can do it there, or you can do it in URSA, but don't be the person who didn't opt out and gets charged the $900 and has to battle that. That's something you might want to put a star by. The other thing that I was just going to mention about financial aid, the way that it generally works is that most of our candidates in the programs pay for the program with a graduate level FAFSA loan. Generally, that will cover tuition for each semester, but you do have to apply for the FAFSA. That's a relatively kind of standard procedure if you've done it before. If you haven't, you can just Google FAFSA graduate loans and kind of work through the system there. Additionally, and Adrena is, as Dr. Rose said, an amazing resource. Occasionally she gets pretty busy right as semesters are beginning, but don't just call the financial aid office, email Adrena directly. She's a lot easier to get a hold of than maybe a work study in the office. So email her directly. And then please note that there is a universal scholarship application on URSA that you basically fill out a one-stop kind of document where any of the criteria that you meet, your information is forwarded to the scholarship committees. And if you receive scholarships or grants, they will let you know directly. Generally, what we see is that, financial aid with FAFSA, most people are given that FAFSA loan, and very few people receive additional free monies via scholarships or grants. So while we kind of step out of this, additionally, I know we're down to registering. If you haven't taken an online course before, don't worry, don't get stressed out about it. Generally, it's what I've learned is just stay ahead of the readings. And put time aside every week to stay on top of things. If you're not good at time management, now's really the time for you to focus on that and kind of start to work ahead. Put a couple hours aside a day for a while, and then what I do when I take a class is I put like a whole day aside, like on a Saturday or Sunday, or like 6-hour windows for big projects or to catch up. So thanks for letting me do a little bit of that. And I know that Dr. Rose will pick this up with the library guide in a minute. So let me negotiate my screen share, which generally takes me a minute or two. And let's see here. There's our meeting. There's my Outlook. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get back to the internet and screen share that. Here we go. Thank you for your patience. Okay, here we are at Google, right? So the UNC homepage is basically just going to unco.edu, and you're going to see a lot of different links at the top. If you go to For You, you are now a current student. Click on Current Student, and you're going to see, and this is probably a good page to bookmark. You're going to see Canvas, which again is the electronic class environment. As Dr. Rose said, every course you have will have a Canvas shell. And the Canvas shell is not going to open until the semester begins. So guess what? A lot of times people are saying, well, gosh, what books do I need? Well, the course isn't open yet. So unless the instructor has emailed you directly, they generally plan for you to log on the first day that classes begin, which is Monday, August 24th, to see that syllabus and to see the assignments and to see the books. And when you look at the books, then you're going to want to just go to probably an online vendor. It could be Barnes & Noble, it could be Amazon, it could be your local bookshop, and you can buy new, you can buy used, you can rent. The thing about renting is, remember, at the end of the program, you're going to have a comprehensive exam. So you might want to think about that when you sell back your books, or if you rent. So generally, you want to make sure that you get the correct edition. And I know that the instructors try to do a good job of keeping things somewhat affordable. But oftentimes the first couple of weeks or first week of class might be some online readings that are already posted in a PDF that you can do while your book arrives. But don't put off ordering your books, because again, that puts you behind a little bit. So thanks for letting me do that. That's Canvas. URSA is Latin for bear. You are now a UNC Bear, and then there's your Bear Mail logon. So I'm going to show you a little bit about URSA, as well as down here you're going to see some featured links about programming. So let's go to URSA. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do is go to account activation. That's going to help you set up everything. And if you're having a hard time finding your bear number, you can go there. That's actually going to be on your liberal arts review as well, that was sent to you by myself or Dr. Holmes or Dr. Rose. So account activation is how you begin. And once you're all set up and you get into URSA, this is pretty much what it looks like. There's a lot there, and it's just like anything else. I think electronically, you get a little bit more confident the more you play around and look at it and take some risks and do it that way. You will not see the employee tab, but you'll have your financial tab and your student tab. Okay, so under student, look, more of the same links that we saw earlier. Generally, Canvas, Bearmail are what you're going to use. Don't worry too much about other ones. Some of these, again, are for like on-campus students or undergrads that might live in the dorms or whatever. But what we really want to show you today is how to register for classes. Okay, so here's this. So let's go ahead and regarding register, add a class. You can look up those CRNs if you want to by going here, but as the coordinators have done a great job with their handbook, you already have those CRNs in our document from earlier that we were going over today. So we're going to go to fall.
And I'll tell you guys what your CRNs are. Sorry, John, to interrupt. Yeah. I'll tell you because some of you are in a couple of, like there's one class that some of you are in one section and some of you are in the other. So I will tell you your CRNs after John's done here so you know exactly what to register for tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.
Sorry, John, carry on.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And then you're just going to go to enter CRNs, and there they are. And so you'll put them in here and press add to summary, and then you'll do both classes for the fall. Spring registration will open up in sometime around November. Don't worry about staying up late to get a spot in a class. You're guaranteed every class in the program because you're part of the cohort. So the CRNs that we talked about, course registration number, you'll put in there. Okay, so somewhat easy, sort of. And then there's just some other things you can look at if you need to. Let's see here. We talked a little bit about the health insurance. Let's see here if I can figure that out. It's so funny. I accidentally clicked on that earlier in a different meeting, and I was like, how did I find it? Oh, here it is. The online health insurance waiver. So you can do that here as well. Okay, so you just click on it and navigate it that way. Regarding the financial, so that's the registration stuff and the useful links. In general, financial tab is here. More or less the way that it works is you receive an award via this system, and it's all electronic. So it's in your, your kind of your bear pay information, and then you're able to pay tuition as well. You don't write checks anymore. You don't stand in line at the financial aid office. You do it all here. So like view and accept award offer and so on. Okay, so that's kind of how that looks. Does anyone have any questions so far about this online portal called URSA? Okay, well then I will stop this screen share again and get to the addendum for the handbook one more time. I hope. Here it is. Sharing that. There we go. Okay, back to you, Dr. Rose.
So just two more things that I want to just point out. Number one is right underneath the registering for classes, the library resource guide. Our library is actually has got some pretty stout holdings. This link here is specific to elementary ed. When you click on that, it offers links to the library homepage, all sorts of other content areas, APA citation help, in-task standards, all sorts of different links for you. But the library generally is really pretty, and I keep using this word, but stout. When I came here out of grad school, my library in grad school was a pretty formidable one as well. I kept up an archive of journal articles. When I came here, every single one of those journals was also housed in our library. We basically don't have too many limits. Not just that, not just our own holdings and subscriptions, but also with interlibrary loan, just like any other library anywhere, you have access to pretty much a world of information. Don't skimp on using the library if you need it. And our librarians are very, very useful and are at your disposal. just to let you know, the library does really, really good work. And some of the texts that you might have as required readings may actually be in our holdings. And so you might be able to check them out as well. So looking for those resources there may also be helpful. Right underneath that in the handbook is one last thing I want to show you. The schedules, syllabi, and other important UNC and course information. Every cohort gets a web page built for them. Yours will become live sometime in the spring, since you were the early start. That cohort page hasn't been fully built. It'll be ready for you in the spring. In the meantime, of course, we'll have our own meetings with you. But it looks like this that John is showing you. So you see every different cohort: Denver 23, 4, and 5, Loveland 18, 19. And it has all this information here. Notice the courses are listed for the summer. This is where in 2021 you'll find your courses. We'll draw your attention to this when we get there. But everywhere, like on the right-hand side, again, all of those key resource sites, again, Bearmail, Canvas, Ursa, all of that's here. And so I just wanted to show that to you here. Every cohort will have it. You will as well. In the meantime, we'll be communicating directly with you about the courses until we get to that spring orientation. The rest of this is just more campus information. Severe weather conditions, you'll get an email, you'll get a text. I also get a phone call, my office phone, all with the same alerts. But we have all of these resources here for you. It's pretty exhaustive, these 3 or 4 pages of resources, but those are the main ones I think that are really helpful to get you started.
If you feel like getting your student ID, which I would recommend just so you can start getting your student discounts in the world, you just basically go here, and they do it remotely now. So I think upload a photo and then they just print it out on the card and then mail it to you. That's kind of convenient for, if and when we ever go back to movie theaters or, student discounts at museums and stuff like that, but also to be a UNC student. And it's funny because I don't believe that they put a year on it. So you can you're going to be a college student forever, and you're going to have your student ID card as long as you want to use it, I believe. So that's kind of fun. And then, we really hope that nothing would ever go wrong where you need to step out of the program. That sometimes does happen. If someone has a family emergency or wants to take time off or whatever, they can. There are some graduate school policies there. In general, we're here to support you if you need some, help in figuring out how that would look. What's hard sometimes is that our courses are only offered once a year many times. So like you have to get all your courses done before you do your practicum and your student teaching, more or less, especially student teaching. So, and then that leads to the comprehensive exam in the final summer. So if you step out, it might be like for a full year, but we'll do whatever we can to help, minimize any loss. But we're here to, obviously we're invested in you succeeding in the program. That's one of the things that we really want to do is support you in meeting your goals. So thank you for letting me just point that out real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share.
Okay. I was going to say real quick on withdrawing too. I always tell all of my students, and I'm sure Dr. Rose says the same thing, that right here, this is like the typical canned like course or university policy stuff. But I always ask that please, before you withdraw and contact the registrar, call me or email me first, just so we can talk about the options, make sure it's, so you have a clear picture of what's going on. But also, especially since you guys are early starters for the next 2 semesters, we have kind of your course plan stuff figured out for you. And so if you were to withdraw from a class, we wouldn't necessarily be notified of that. And we are going forth thinking, oh yeah, Mary took special ed, she doesn't need to take it next fall. But if she had withdrawn from special ed and I didn't know, it can just mess up your course plan. So that is a super long-winded way of saying just call us first. Okay.
Yeah, let us know. We're part of the team supporting you, and we're in many cases outside of course instructors, we are the most immediate person for you. And so The course instructors may not know the ins and outs of the program, just the course. So if there's any questions you have or any needs that you're trying to sort of satisfy, just let us know. We can't read minds yet, but so just letting us know if there's anything that you need. We can't help you if you don't tell us. And as you might imagine, Michelle and I have been fielding a lot of different questions this summer regarding the fall, with schools opening and such. So we're used to getting questions, requests, all sorts of different stuff. And like I always say, is there's no stupid questions, just the ones you don't ask. And so if you've got a question, if it crosses your mind, maybe I should ask.
And we're nice.
We try to be. I kid, but
I think one of the things that the students should know too is that in the dialogue about doing this early start, the coordinators were very excited to have a core base of more experienced students, U7, moving ahead when the other people start, because we don't want to put that ownership or onus on you, but you're going to be able to say, hey, the special education class was pretty challenging. Here's the book I did some research on this, and we're excited for that component of the peer-to-peer mentorship. So candidates, do you have any questions? I'll definitely send you the recorded meeting. Any questions before we say goodnight?
Well, I want to give them their CRNs too, but let's do questions
Yes.
first, and then I'll give you your specific registration stuff.
Great.
Michelle's right. We're pretty nice. There may be one among you that knows one of us, and whoever that is might be able to shed some light on some of us.
That was really well said, Dr. Rose.
I can't say what people did. FERPA, right?
Right. People. Well, if you have questions you don't want to ask everybody, you can email us or get in touch with us, or you can put them in the chat and we can answer them. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you the numbers, but I'm also going to put them in the chat. So for the special ed class, which is the EDSE 430, just because of some scheduling stuff, we had to split you guys in half. So the Denver people are going to be together in one of the sections, and the Greeley and Loveland people will be together in the other section. Okay. So like John was telling you about with Ursa, if you search by the CRN, you'll be sure to get into the correct section. Before I give you these though, I need you to know that just like literally 2 hours ago, I found out that there's a little bit of an administrative clerical glitch. So if you could please hold off on registering, I know you're excited, but if you could wait to register until tomorrow afternoon to give the people that need to do the fixing the morning tomorrow to fix it, that would be fantastic. And then that way too, if there's any changes in CRNs, I can get that information to you before you get frustrated trying to register for classes. But with the information we have right now, for the EDSE 430 class, Denver, your CRN is 15101. And I just put it in chat. And Greeley Loveland, your CRN is 15835. Okay, so again, Denver is 15101 and Greeley Loveland is 15835. Now, all of you are going to be in the same tip class, and the CRN for that is 14664. And again, I've put it in the chat for you. If you have questions or concerns or you're confused, obviously reach out to us tomorrow. These are also on your, I'm not going to screen share like John did, but they're also here on your, okay, you can't see it, on your course list page under the EDSE 430. It has both of those CRNs. It's just important that you know which one is yours. Okay. So again, Denver is 15101 and Greeley Loveland folks are 15835. And that's all I have for you guys, unless Dr. Rose, yeah, they're there. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
If anybody else has anything to say or you have any questions, this is your moment. And I guess Dr. Rose and I will stay on. We'll be the last ones off. So if you want to hang out and talk to one of or both of us as people are signing off, feel free. Otherwise, it was great to see your faces. And I look forward to working with you guys this fall and next spring and on and into 2021, 2022. So have a great night.
I do have one thing that's not a question. It's more of a suggestion. Greeley-Evans right now, the school district is really hurting for substitute teachers. Their sub-license is only like $90. It's a really easy application process, and all you need is an undergraduate degree. So if you are looking to do some like work over the next couple semesters, I would highly recommend it, because like for myself, I'm at one school all the way through halfway through spring.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
just a suggestion to everybody.
Oh.
It's a great way to get teaching experience too.
It is. Thank you
Sure.
for that. It's a great
May I
tip.
ask what school you're at?
Jackson.
Okay, cool. We live just north of there, so awesome. Cool. And also, Sarah, thanks for sharing that you've taken the Praxis. That's that mentorship that we talked about. So if anybody needs to pick someone's brain about the Praxis, Sarah's your go-to person on that.
And she put it in chat, so it's not a violation of FERPA.
I was thinking that
Yes,
might have been
please.
the case.
Please email me if you have questions. I had like a good study group when I did it, so.
Great.
Super. All right. Well, guys, really feel free to go about your evening if you'd like, but if you have other stuff, hang out. I feel like everyone's like, I don't want to be the first one to leave. Go ahead. It's okay.
Feel free.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Nobody wants to talk to us, guys. What's that?
I hope you both have a nice evening, and I'll be looking for some of the progress tomorrow on the EDSC 430.
Yep.
Yep. There should be some by tomorrow. And then, John, will you send out this recording as other people are admitted? You'll take care of that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank
and you. I guess we'll need to talk as well about the clearances and how we want to handle that. So, but I'm sure.
Why don't you stop the recording?
Yeah, stop the recording.
Okay.